What is up, hockey fans? It's the commissioner here, Jimmy, the mailman Milstead, and it is Thursday, December the 7th. Oh, December the 7th here in the States.
Pearl Harbor
Pearl
Day,
Harbor
man.
Day. Swig of coffee for all that endured that are still alive, but ah, a day that'll live in infamy, Stork.
It will, man.
Um,
And it
but
should.
have you ever visited Pearl Harbor?
No.
Oh, I have. It's pretty somber. The ships underneath the water there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would be hard for me to look at. I think that would really put me in a funk, I think.
yeah. I mean, a pretty cool setup. But to continue the intro, though, here on December 7th, 2023, this is episode 9 of the Storks Desk, and it's been a while, Stork.
It's been a
Kevin
couple of
Stork,
weeks.
Maple Ridge, BC.
You got it right, man.
The commissioner here from the offices of the league in Adna, Washington. How are you doing, Stork? It's been a while. We've been trying to coordinate. I feel bad. Nick Reedy, the colonel, we were supposed to record on Wednesday. Just so much going on, buddy. I was too tired. The weather's been really rainy. Any flooding in your area? How's it going, man?
No. Well, I mean, it's we have like a moat outside of our driveway there that the city won't fix, and it's like a mini lake out there. It's rained a lot here, and it's supposed to rain all week. So,
Yeah, we got the sun breaks today. It kind of feels good. But yeah, I've got a little bit of standing water in parts of my yard. I lay a little low. Around the mail route, lots of floods or big puddles, but a lot of it's all receded already. So hopefully, it's been really warm too. This weather's warm to me,
yeah, it's
and
mild.
yeah, it's been crazy. But been a whirlwind week. I've been running the gauntlet, visiting Seattle Thunderbirds games, traveling up and down I-5, about an hour and 20 minutes each way, playing beer league hockey, having fun with it. I've got a 4-game point streak going, buddy. So that's going well. But
Nice.
life is just getting in the way from us recording. But fantasy hockey's here. We are in week 9. The last time we talked, I think we were going into week 7. So a
Yes.
lot's been going on, buddy. Anything standing out to you? We haven't even talked about the major topics tonight in Detroit. Showtime. Patrick Kane is underway. What are you thinking, man? Nick, it didn't work for Nick Backstrom. Patty
Uh, you,
Kane. He says
I,
he's ready, man.
yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, he's been sitting out for a long time. Obviously, he's not in game shape. He went through some major surgery. I just don't think it's going to be the same Patrick Kane as we're used to seeing. But you know, kudos to him to give it a shot. But I'm not very optimistic that Patrick Kane is going to be able to deal with everything. I mean, like I said, he had some major surgery. He's been out for months now. It's going to take a while for him to get back into any kind of shape. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm rooting for him. He'll probably look good in a Red Wing uniform, but I'm just kind of happy that he didn't decide to come to Toronto because I didn't want that kind of circus up in Toronto because I know there was talk about him coming there too, and I wasn't interested in. 5 years ago, I would love Patrick Kane on my team, but not now, man. He's getting up there. What is he, 34, 35 now? Something like that. And I just don't see it working out too well for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm really interested because I am playing him. I'm against him. Dan Hull of our league, the Killer Bunnies, who have been struggling of late, but they did get a win last week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I am playing against Patrick Kane tonight as they host the San Jose Sharks, who have actually been playing pretty well. They've been getting a couple of victories. Um, so that'll be interesting to watch. Patty Kane, he's going to be help Detroit Red Wings, man. I think they've been. I had them outside, just barely the playoffs, and I had the Buffalo Sabres, Ottawa Senators, and we talk predictions. Right now, I look like an idiot. I think the Wings will definitely be there. Not so much maybe for Buffalo and Ottawa as they continue to struggle.
Yeah.
Did
I
you have the
thought they
Red
would
Wings
all
in?
do well. I thought all three of those teams would have good seasons, but
Yeah.
I knew Detroit was going to have a good year. This is even before Patrick Kane. If he can help them out a little bit more and add some veteran leadership and contribute a little bit, watch out for the Red Wings, man. They got a solid team. And I knew they'd make the playoffs. I predicted them to make it. And it's going to be interesting. We got some big games on tonight. Here is the time where, Thursdays are a big day usually in fantasy hockey. And it can make or break your week. If you head into the weekend with a lead, you're in much better shape, that's for sure.
Yeah, 13 big games in the NHL tonight. And I'm actually just now getting my first goalie start in Stork. Cam Talbot versus the Montreal Canadiens will be in my lineup. I will have enough this weekend if all plans out, but I was kind of playing with fire, buddy. Both backups for me started the early games for both the squads that I have on the LA Kings, Winnipeg Jets. Hellebuck and Cam Talbot didn't start this week. They should be able to get 3 starts. But let's talk about that. Last week, the guy we just mentioned, Dan Hull, got the win against Tim Kelly's DuPont Pipelers. Pipelers were destroying the Killer Bunnies 16-5. Ended up having some goaltending start issues. Picked up both Minnesota goalies for the Sunday. He would have got his 3rd start in, but he started the Gustafson over Flower, and Flower ended up getting the start and the win over the Chicago Blackhawks. Kelly should be a lot better than he is right now. Dan Hull gets a much-needed win. What are your thoughts on the 3 goaltending start rule?
Well,
are you continuing to like it?
I still like it, and I'll continue to like it. One thing you want to avoid, though, is heading into Sunday with not enough goalie starts. And you have to start scrambling for a goalie. And of course, in this league, but other teams are doing the same thing. So goalies can disappear real quick if you're not quick on the draw. And that puts yourself in a really bad spot. I try to make sure I have my 3 starts by Saturday.
Yeah.
So that way, if I want to put an extra goalie in on a Sunday, just to get some more stats or whatever, or I need to catch up on some. But yeah, I never go on to Sunday needing a goalie start. And here is a reason why you don't want to do that, because you can get burned.
So yeah, we haven't linked up since going into we started week 7. That was a divisional week here in the league fantasy hockey. Let's review the scores since then. A lot of action have taken place. Stork had a rough week against Nick. I wish we could have got Nick on. We'll get him back. We'll get him on as soon as we can. 17-4, Nick ended up beating the Langley Scorpions. Those Frozen Norsemen, they're kind of like, I'm trying to think of a team who they flirt as a real big contender, and then they just drop a heartbreaker here and there. Nick's kind of struggling. He beat you that week, though, 17-4. I lost to Mark Wood of the Woody Woodpeckers, who we'll get to the rankings in a bit. Don Cherry has the Woody Woodpeckers, number 1 ranked team. They ended up getting a big last Sunday win. This game was flip-floppy all week. I had Mark Wood where I wanted him, and his goaltending bested me. But he goes to 6-2 with a 10-7 win over the Adna Americans. Adna just have had one bad loss all year, just can't finish the deal. Adna's 3-5 right now. The champs, DB Cooper, they have their way again, Stork, with Dave Snellgrove. Dave has yet to beat DB Cooper to this day. 4-0. Did he lose to him in the playoffs? I think I want to say 5-0 all time, but 4-0 in the regular season. DB Cooper, Mark Raymond. By the way, the birthday boy today, so a swig of coffee for Mark Raymond, the champs.
Happy birthday, Mark.
2 years older than me, so I want to say he is 49. I could have that wrong, but Mark Raymond, the champs. Happy birthday.
I remember when I was 49.
But Mark, he's looking like the champs again. He beat Dave 12-8, and Dave's kind of on a little losing streak. We'll get into that in a minute. The Cherry Bombs, they have been really playing well. The new franchise. This was the first ever meeting between both new franchises. Alex bests Dan Hall's Killer Bunnies 18-1. Dan Hall that week only had one category win, Stork. That might be the biggest lopsided victory ever in league history. So Dan Hall's been struggling, but he's been playing a little bit better. Huma, they also had a big victory over those DuPont pipe players we talked about. Tim's just struggling. 18-3 in week 7. Huma at the time went to 4-3. And DuPont was 2-5 at the time. So a big 18-3 win for Julio. We got to get Julio on here. And then the Wendigo, they were previous number 1. They got a big win over the Nova Fire Brigade. Another team where Scott has never beaten Wayland, 14-6. And Scott had Wayland in this game, Stork, up big time. The script got flipped. Wayland just pounded on Nova Fire Brigade. Although Nova is starting to play better, big win there in week 7 for the Wendigo. Did any of these games, anything stand out to you in these games? You could talk about your game too in week 7.
Well, I mean, my game I don't even want to talk about because my offense all week just completely dried up. So it's no, when you lose 17-4, something's not right. And I've been on a really, the 2 weeks prior to that, I had lost a couple of real close games on the weekend that had knocked me out. And then week 7 there, I just couldn't get anything going all week. Nothing was going right. And a couple of the other games, as you were talking about, the Killer Bunnies have really struggled. Dan's having a bit of an issue with his computer, which hasn't helped him. And he's normally more on the ball, but not having your computer working properly can affect you. So hopefully he'll bounce back. He's still got lots of time left, lots of games left. And all these rivalries we have going, it's exciting. And we're getting into close to mid-season here. We're getting there in a couple more weeks. And this is when wins and losses really go under the microscope. When you get to a point where you can't afford a loss, or you can drop out of the top 6. And that's the goal in this league, is to get in the top 6.
Yes, sir. So that was week 7, Storky. We moved on to the non-divisional week 8, Gretzky versus the OV division. And as I'm trying to look at my stats here, in week 8, we had some great matchups. You took on those number 1 ranked Washington Wendigo, and you beat Wayland. You're 2-0 all time against Wayland. You beat them 12-8 that week, Stork. Pretty good matchup. Wayland did not have enough against you. The Woody Woodpeckers, they defeated the Probert Etiquette. Another loss by Dave. It was, what was the score I'm looking at? 9-7.
9-7, yeah.
That one was pretty close all week as well. We had our second tie of the season. It always seems like it involves either Julio. He had 2 ties last year, if I recall. He got his 3rd tie all time. Cherry Bombs for the second time this year, a tie. It was a 10-10 draw. So Alex, though, is gobbling up points. So is Julio in their competitive divisions. Don't sleep on Alex. She is playing some good fantasy hockey. So that one was 10-10 last week. A thriller, like we said, the Killer Bunnies end up winning 11-10 due to DuPont not getting those goaltending starts. He would have won that game somewhere around 16-5, I think. He gets snake bit, and DuPont goes to 2-6, and he's in Don Cherry's tuna spot. The Killer Bunnies, a much-needed win. They were previously 1-5. They go to 2-6. So 11-10 win for the Killer Bunnies. And then, Nick, he slips up against the Nova Fire Brigade as Scott gets a big win, 13-7 over Nick's team. And then Jimmy, he had a big lead on Mark. The power play was humming. Mark, the champions, just make you pay, though. They ended up overtaking me in a lot of categories, and including the power play. Jimmy's goaltending let him down. Even though we had great stats, we couldn't get wins. We had 4 losses, I think, that week with a goalie pickup. Just wasn't working. Or no, I got 1 win, 3 losses. My starters, just the teams in front of them, couldn't get the wins. I know Hellebuck had 2 losses on great performances. DB Cooper, they go to 6-2, 12-8. At Americans at 3-5. And that brings up our Don Cherry rankings. Stork, I got him in the background. You can probably barely see him.
I can see him.
Here's my Don Cherry mug, as you can see. But what do you think? We got the Woody Woodpeckers are the number 1 ranked team. It looks like Don included the fact that they beat Dave Snellgrove. They haven't played DB Cooper yet. I think that's upcoming in a few weeks. Wendigo slipped down to number 3. What do you think? Do you think Mark Raymond or Mark Wood should be the number 1 team, or is it just Don Cherry's drinking the whiskey?
Well, no, actually, Cherry's a lot more closer. For me, I would flip Probert and Washington 3 and 4, but as you mentioned, Probert's on a 2-game skid, so that knocked him down. But and of course, I beat Washington last week, so it's looking pretty very close to what I would have too. As you can see, Huma is slowly creeping up. I said they would. I said at the end they're going to be in a playoff spot. I also think the Cherry Bombs are going to be a tough team, and they have a chance at a playoff spot. And seeing DuPont down at the bottom there after that crushing loss last week, he deserves to be there, and he better make sure that doesn't happen again, because it'll cost you, man. It'll cost you. I'm sure Dan will be happy to be in 11th instead of 12th, where he's been most of the year. I see you're down there a lot. I don't know. You're no love for Adna right now, as far as Don Cherry's concerned. But
I haven't deserved it.
If you notice, 8, 9, and 10 is all us 3. We're all sitting at 3 and 5 records. So we got some work to do if we want to get in the top 6.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, the time is now, at least for the Adna. I'm speaking for the Adna Americans. We've had 1 bad loss all year, and that was opening week to the Probert Etiquette. They trounced us. But been in every game, every week, Stork, and we just can't get over the hump. Washington Wendigo, Woody Woodpeckers, Huma, and DB Cooper, all heartbreaking Sunday losses in the end. Just not enough. But still like my team. Tage Thompson is back. I know you have him in another league.
Yeah.
Hopefully Buffalo can get it going. I noticed he got a power play point the other night. So we'll see how Tage does. But, hey, what do we got? 13 weeks left?
13 weeks.
Gotta chip
Lots
away.
of hockey left still.
Chip away, take advantage of those divisional matchups, and that's what we're in this week. We'll move to that here in a minute. But what was I looking at? So what team is standing out to you the most in the Ovechkin actually took the all-time lead, Stork. Let me take a look at my stats. They were 3-2 last week versus the Gretzky. And I don't have it up in front of me, but it's getting pretty close. It's like right down the middle. There's a couple of draws. All time, the 2 divisions head to head are it's about like 26 and 25 or something. I think both divisions are pretty good in parity. I know Adna versus the Gretzky. I think we have 2 wins all time in 2 years. It's been the Adna Americans do not beat Gretzky division teams. I don't know what it is. We'll have to attack. I know I beat Nick and I beat Tim. I think that's about it.
I'm not
So
doing very well in my division. I'm 1-4 right now, and that's
yeah,
something I have to correct if I want to climb over some teams in the division. But I've got
yeah.
one on my list this week, and that's Dave Snellgrove, my arch enemy. Huge game for us this week. He's got me 11-7 right now, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the rest of this week.
Oh, I didn't. Did you cut out? Are you there?
Yep.
Okay. Can you
Oh,
say what you just said again? I'm sorry. I
well, I was just saying that I'm not doing very well in my division play. I'm 1-4 right now. And like I said before, you've got to, you gotta be tough in your own division if you want to climb up the standings in the division. I'm
yeah.
having a lot more better luck in playing the other division, but I've got Dave Snellgrove this week, and looking for a big win to catch up a little bit and get closer to 500 again, so I can get my team going now that the offense is back, and my goaltending's been great all year, really. But yeah, lots of big games coming up this week, and of course next week, the playing outside your division, important games. Every game's important. When you got 13 left, you gotta get going.
Yeah, before we talk about week 9, the current one we're in, let's go to the division standings real quick. In the Gretzky, DB Cooper's a familiar spot. He is now ahead of Dave Snellgrove's Pro Etiquette at 6-2. He is only 3-2 in the division, though, Stork. So he's got 12 standings points. He's made 47 roster moves this year. Pro Etiquette is in second at 5-3. They are 4-1 in the division. And they've made 42 moves this year, Storky. But Dave's got a good division record. He's at 5-3. Huma, they're hanging around. They're sniffing around that top spot. 4-3-1, the all important tie there. It seems like it helps more than it hinders, at least in league history. The Whalen had a tie last year, and I could never catch him.
Yeah,
But
ties are better than losses.
Huma is 3-2 in the division with 9 standing points. Dave has 10 standing points. Julio's only made 26 moves. He's made half the moves those two in front of him made this year. Then you, Stork, the Langley Scorpions, and the Frozen Norsemen, both at 3-5. Your division record, as you said, 1-4. You have 6 standings points along with Nick. Nick is 2-3 into the division. You and Nick both. You have made 36 moves. Nick has made 31 moves this year. The DuPont Pipe players. Is that Kyle Dubas?
It's Kyle. I'll talk to him later.
He is always calling you during the show. But DuPont 2-6, 2-3 in the division, only 4 standings points. They've only made 13 moves all year, so they must like what they got for the bulk. We'll see what Tim does once football season winds down. Over in the Ovechkin, Woody Woodpeckers, 6-2 best. They are the leaders right now. They have a 4-1 division record with 12 points. They've made 29 moves. Woody Woodpeckers gets Vasilevsky back. So he's got a 3-headed monster there in nets. We'll see if Mark, I know there's been I won't go into the details, but he's offered me a couple of trades involving goaltenders. Adna has not bit yet. The Wendigo falls last week. They fall in the division. They are 1 game back, 5-3 with 10 standings points. Whalen, though, very good in the division, though, 4-1. He's made 25 moves this year. Cherry Bombs in third place. They are 4-2-2. Those 2 ties are basically like a win. She's got 10 standings points. She's 2-2-1 in the division. If she can get a better division record, watch out for Alex, the new team. Connor McDavid's heating up. She's got 30 moves she's made. So she's been very active. Cherry Bombs look like a team that is going to be a thorn in people's sides.
Yep.
The Nova Fire Brigade, they've been up and down. They got a win last week. They're in 4th place, 3-4-1. I forgot they had a tie as well. So Scott is ahead of Adna by 1 point, 7 points. He is only 1-3-1 in the division, though. If Scott can get his division record better. It'll be better suited for him for a playoff chance. He's made 27 moves. Adna's dropped to 5th, 3-5, 3-2 in the division. It was looking really good when I was playing Mark. I thought we were going to be 4-1, but it was not to be the case. 6 standings points for Adna. Adna's been active, 38 moves this year, but nothing going right now for him. They need a win against the Killer Bunnies, who wrap it up in the Ovechkin. 2-6. Dan has yet to get a divisional win. He's 0-5, Storky. 4 standings points, and he has made a lot of moves, 44. He's the second most active manager on the waiver wire. DB Cooper, 47 moves, tops him. So anything in the standings stand out to you, sir, before we talk about Week 9's matchups?
Not really. I mean, it's starting to balance itself out as the weeks go on. As we say, the old cliche, the cream always rises to the top once you stir it a little bit. So, yeah, I think the next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to see some more movement in the standings, and you'll see some of those top-notch teams come to the surface.
Let's talk about Week 9 right now. It's a big divisional week. The matchup of the week for Don Cherry. He has Alex versus Waylon. This is a big one. Waylon dropped the first meeting all time. Alex leads the series 1-0. They met a few weeks ago. Don Cherry's picked Alex in this game. Don Cherry, by the way, 21-25 on his league picks. A couple of pushes we threw out. Don Cherry not doing as good as Stork, though. Stork on league picks, you're 25-21, man. You lead all the league brass. Nick was 24-22 in predictions, and Don Cherry 21-25, and the commish 17-29 is not doing very good on his picks. But Cherry picked Alex in this game. Who did you have? I picked Waylon.
I think I had Alex this week, I believe.
Okay.
I haven't got it in front of me, but
currently that one's real close. It's 10-9 going into Thursday. I mean, it's too early to tell, but Waylon's leading by 1 point. I think that's a worthy matchup of the week for Don Cherry. Another Ovechkin division match, Dan Hull and Jimmy, like we said, is going on. Dan's had the advantage because of goaltending. I have yet to get a starter in. I'm getting that in tonight. Jimmy leads this series 1-0 all time. We had a pretty good first meeting. I pulled away during the weekend, but that is Cherry picked Dan Hull in this game. Wow. I believe I picked Hull as well. Who'd you pick, Storky?
You don't have it in front of you, eh?
I got it on my phone.
I got it on my paper here somewhere.
But I think you had Hull. But Hull is leading. Hull's leading that one currently 11-9. I really like the way my offense is going. I will have to see how Cam Talbot does. They're playing the Montreal Canadiens tonight. I love the way the Kings are playing. They Stork, what do you think of the Kings? Road Warriors. They have yet to lose a game. They've been outstanding on the road this year.
Yeah, they're a tough road team, that's for sure. They got a solid. I mean, you look at their front 9. Their top 6. I mean,
deep down the middle.
They're deep down the middle. They got 3 or 4 lines going really well right now. They're getting, decent goaltending. They can get even more dangerous if the goaltending comes around, because they've been a little choppy on the goaltending lately. But they can score goals, and they have a good system in front of them, and everybody's buying into it. And there's no accident that the LA Kings are looking good in the standings right now.
Yep. Yeah, you had the Cherry Bombs, and you had you picked Adna.
The cherry
wow,
bomb.
you picked.
I picked you this week.
Oh wow, kudos, sir. I picked Dan Hull because I haven't liked the way my team's been playing.
You're not getting the goaltending you did last year, Jimmy.
No, like I said,
Hellebuck
is playing great. It's the team in front of him let me down. The Jets are a good team, but they've been losing tight battles. They blew the game against the Edmonton Oilers. That one was a big loss for me. But let's move back on. By the way, Jimmy leads Dan Hall 1-0 all time. Don Cherry has his lover boy Scott Lanham over Mark this week, buddy. This series is tied 2-2. I believe I picked Mark. Mark Wood playing really good fantasy hockey, the number 1 seed. And who did I pick? Oh, yeah, I picked the Peckers. I like this matchup a lot. Currently, right now, Mark is up on Scott big time, buddy, 14-3. So Scott needs to get it going. I haven't analyzed all the matchups yet. Over in the Gretzky, let's go to your match, you and Dave. Oh, by the way, that series is tied all the time between Mark and Scott, 2-2.
Yeah.
David leads your series 3-1 all time, buddy. I think you beat him in the playoffs, though, didn't you?
No, he beat me in the playoffs. So.
Okay, he beat you. That's right. So technically he's up 4-1 all the time. But you get another crack at Dave. Sherry likes David this week, buddy. I picked you. So we picked each other. So
and I picked against myself this week.
Dave's been struggling on goaltending, I think. He can't get it together with Carter Hart. I think he picked up Nedeljkovic this week. We'll see how Dave goes. He's had a couple. Jack Hughes is back, but he's running a couple issues there with his big guns. And what's up with Timo Meyer? This guy doesn't seem like he's.
I don't know. Yeah, he's off for sure. I don't know what's going on with him. He doesn't seem to be the same guy that played for San Jose last year. That's for sure.
Then a nice series here. Julio versus Nick, the all-time 2-2. I love these guys when they go head-to-head. Cherry picked Julio and Huma. Jimmy, who did you pick? Jimmy picked the Norse.
No.
So he went with the brass this week. Julio, I think, is a real tough team to play against. It's hot and cold. I think he could have beat Cherry Bombs last week, but I know he was traveling to Florida. Maybe he got sidetracked, but Cherry likes Julio. Jimmy likes Nova, and
I took Huma.
Yorkie, you took Huma. So yeah. I do think both these guys could be playoff teams. Nick's got to get it going a little bit. We'll see what he can do. Currently, that series tied, like we said, 2-2 all time. And right now, Frozen Norsemen are beating Huma 14-5 going into a big, heavy Thursday. And then the other matchup of this week, this big Week 9 divisional, Mark the Champs versus Tim Pipelayers. Mark controls this series 4-0 all time. Don Cherry has picked the Champs. Jimmy also picked the Champs, and you picked the Champs as well. Nick ended up picking this week Dave, Julio, Alex, Mark Wood, Adna, and the Champs. So we have that on record. Nick actually does well in league pick'ems. So right now, DB Cooper is actually losing to Tim 10-8. But that's what DB Cooper does, Stork. He kind of figures out what's going on, then makes the adjustments. He makes some big time pickups, man. He picked up some odd guys last week on me, and he ended up for him, he had one more goaltending start that got gathered stats. That was huge.
I'll tell you what, he's a weekend warrior. He puts it all together. He puts all the puzzles in place on the weekend, and it's been paying off for him. And that's probably what he did last year, working on the weekend, making sure he's in good shape to take the lead. And you gotta watch him. He's sneaky.
Everybody working for the weekend.
Everybody needs a new win now.
Yeah, definitely. So big Thursday, like you said, 13 matchups. Before we shut her down, we got one more segment here. You wanted to go over some stats. As we're in Week 9. What do you got for us, buddy?
Well, I got. I just was having a look at the leaderboard for team stats up to last week. And not surprisingly, points scored. We have Probert in first place with 312 points, and that's goals and assists. Washington is second at 296, and believe it or not, the Norsemen are third in points at 273.
Wow.
If you look down at the bottom of that list, you'll see DuPont at 229 and the Killer Bunnies sitting in 12th at 215. So, these points with the Norseman, I mean, he's in the offensive category in quite a few stats, but his goaltending has not been as good, and that's why he's sitting at 3 and 5. But power play points, we got Washington in first place right now.
Yeah.
And they're all over the board in the offensive categories, not surprisingly.
Yeah. He's got Kucherov and Pasternak.
Exactly, and he's got 114 power play points right now. Prober Etiquette is second in that department with 113. Myself, Langley, has 96. I'm in third. And then Adna, you're in fourth, believe it or not, in power play points with 94 points. And again, the Norseman, 92 points, sitting in fifth place in that department. So some interesting stats for a lot of teams. In the shots department, Washington again is first with 962 shots. Prober Etiquette has 955 at second. And DB Cooper is third at 933. When we look at the face-off one, Nova is leading that, not surprisingly. I think they led last year. And DB Cooper is second. And again, Washington is third in that department. The Woodpeckers are sitting fourth. Huma is sitting fifth in face-off wins. And down at the bottom, Jimmy, you're in 11th place. 555 face-off wins, not good enough. And there's only one team that's worse, and that's the Killer Bunnies.
We picked up a few guys this week.
And if you don't hear your name here, you know you're in the middle of the pack somewhere. In the hits department, DB Cooper is first in that department. The Fire Brigade is sitting in second right now. And the Cherry Bombs are sitting in third in that department. Down at the bottom is DuPont and the Norseman. That's the only blemish for the Norseman in the offensive categories is he's not getting enough hits. But block shots, the Cherry Bombs are leading with 335 block shots. DB Cooper is second with 329, and I'm third at 327. Down at the bottom of that department, here's one that Snellgrove won't like. He's sitting at 11th place in block shots with 240, a lot less than other teams. And Washington, I mean, these guys are on top of the scoring and power plays and all that. But block shots, they're both sitting at the bottom of the league.
Torts would hate that. Torts wants block shots, man.
Yeah, they're too busy goal sucking, I think. He's got his team goal sucking.
Cherry
he doesn't want to block no shots.
Let them have that shit.
Over in the goaltending department, the goals against leader is Nova with a 2.36. And that's pretty darn good. I am sitting second overall at 249. And I think if you remember, I told you at the start of the season that I was going to work on my goaltending because it was horrible last year. I mean, I was down at the bottom for most of the season.
You got Gorgiev, right?
What's that?
You have Gorgiev?
Yes, and Swayman.
Yes. Swayman.
So I'm at 249 goals against average. Prober Etiquette at 252, and that's why he's where he is in the standings. He's getting offense, and he's getting some goaltending, too. The Cherry Bombs are sitting fourth in that department at 254. And this is probably why DuPont won a couple of games. It's not because of their offense. They're fourth in goals against average at 273. At the bottom of that list is the Killer Bunnies, struggling at 3.37 goals against average. And even worse than that, I mean, if Rick could get, or Nick can get his offense to where he is. He needs to get his defense because his goaltending sucks, man. 3.47 goals against average.
Ooh.
Good enough for last in the league.
Wow.
Nova's at 16-5 win-loss record. I'm sitting at 17-7 win-loss record. And the Norsemen are 11-14, good enough for 11th place. And the Killer Bunnies are 7-13 in that department. Nova, again, if they can get some offense going, they're going to be a dangerous team. They really are, because they got the goaltending. They're leading in the save percentage at .919. Prober Etiquette is second at .915. And the Cherry Bombs, .914. Down at the bottom, DB Cooper is 11th in that department, 895. That's not good for, that's something he's going to have to work on.
He likes the mercenary pickup for the goaltending.
Yeah, and you could see it. The Norsemen, last in the league,
I will say this.
.90.
Nick, I think, is going to start to get those because he just started. Connor Ingram is starting to heat up in Arizona. I think he found his starter. He's playing phenomenal for the Coyotes
right now, but he needs to pick up his offense, or his goaltending, or it could be a long year for him. This week, we're all sitting at 3-5 right now, the three of us, and this is a huge week for all of us because you don't want to fall to 3-6. 4-5 looks a lot better than 3-6. Let me tell you.
Did you go over the penalty minutes yet?
I haven't done the penalty minutes yet.
Okay. Because last week, DB Cooper,
that.
67 penalty minutes. That's got to be a record against me last week.
I'm not the worst, but I'm down there. But I can't remember. Somebody is a wimp, and I think it's Probert. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at it.
I think I'm.
Like I said, these guys, they're all goal sucking and standing at the other blue line, waiting for the pucks to come to them. They can't block a shot. They can't play defense. It's going to cost them in the long run. So I'm hoping I'm going to take advantage of that with Probert Etiquette this week. I'm going to. This weekend is going to be a big weekend for me, and I hope he hears this.
Calling him out. Shot. Here comes a shot.
It's going to be a head blow. I'm telling you right now.
Whoa, Dave, are you hearing this? If Dave, I'm not sure what our ratings are on this show, Stork, but you've been doing a lot of shit talking this year. Let's see. I can't wait, man. Maybe we'll get some real fights.
Dave Snellgrove in fantasy hockey. That's all. Boo. And I'm going to beat him this week. He's probably sitting there all cocky. Oh, I'm up 11-7 heading into Thursday. Wait till you see where he is heading out of Thursday.
Dave was 5-0. Now he's 5-3. Stork. He needs a big win.
I'm going to make him 5-4. So
let's see it. Let's.
He's going for the big skid.
Dave at the when he was at the height of his 5-0, I think his first loss was to Nova. He was really just up in the air going, I really want to run the table, Jimmy. I don't know if he was on the sauce. Wow.
He ain't going to be running any tables this week.
Yeah, we'll see. I love the rivalry, though. So, was there any more stats, Stork, did you have to go over?
No, that's about it right now. I'll post all the stats at the end of week 10, I believe. I'm going to put a complete rundown of all the stats, just so everybody can see where they are at the halfway point. Because the stats are important. You could see where you need to work on and where you're doing well in. It'll help you in the final half of the season, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those stats because they're telling.
Well, like I said last week, a tip of the cap to Mark Raymond, the champs. I had already lost the penalty category that night one when you had the Chuck boys going head-to-head, Ottawa and Florida. All those 10-minute misconducts thrown out by the ref. Brady to Chuck. DB Cooper's #1 pick was in the center of it all. I think he had 16 minutes in penalty. That night one, I was already down 30 minutes in penalties to like 4.
Crazy.
And I don't know what it is all time. I'll look it up and hopefully have it next show. But Mark Raymond in 1 week, I think, had to have set the record. He ended up with 69, the magic number, 69. Over an hour in penalty minutes, Stork. There's no way.
He's a goon.
There's no way I was ever going to catch him up to him, and that was already a lost stat. But the champs, I'll give it to you. 2-0 all time versus Adna. You had to go to that. You had to resort to the goonery. I'll remember that, Mark. The birthday boy, another shout out to the birthday boy, Mark Raymond. The champs, they're rolling, Stork. They're going. We're only in week 9, but time is flying, man. We're already in week 9. It's December the 7th. We got some catching up to do, buddy. A lot of good hockey tonight, like we said, 13 games on ESPN here in the States. It's the Caps and the Stars, and then I get to see a Kraken game for once. They're on the mothership. They're taking on the Hughes boys. The Hughes Bowl versus Vancouver. Did you get to watch that game? I was at a T-Birds game. They Devils, Jack and Luke got the better of Quinn, 6-5. Those guys are the center of the hockey world. The Hughes are, got to be something for the parents, but they are in Seattle tonight. That's going to be on ESPN. So a lot of good games. Who do the Leafs play?
Leafs got Ottawa tonight, the hated Ottawa Senators. And
that ought to be a
one thing I could say about those games is Ottawa always comes to play against the Leafs because they hate the Leafs. It's the Battle of Ontario, and it should be a really good game. I'm hoping the Leafs are on the ball tonight because they got to be ready for Ottawa.
Yeah. All right, Storky. So we finally got one here in the can. We got to get Nick back. We haven't seen Nick since beginning of October, buddy.
Well, let's see if we can get something maybe together for this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get one. I got a beer league game at 5:55 at the Krakenplex. Let's see how these matchups are going, and we'll see what you guys are doing Sunday morning. As I think it's a pretty big, beefy NHL schedule that day, if I'm not mistaken. They're starting to get more beefy.
Well, there's about 6 or 7 games on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, usually Sundays, though, at the beginning of the football season, they're light, like 2 to 3.
Well, yeah. Like I said, in football fantasy, it's quarterfinals week. So,
yeah, good luck there.
I'm going to be busy with that because I got all that crap to run. So once football's over with, I can concentrate on hockey 100%. So,
yeah, baby, that's my favorite sport. So, all right, Stork. Good luck with Dave this week. I'll see what I can do against Patty Kane and Dan Hall tonight. I'm hopefully Dave watches this tonight, but I'm excited. It's week 9. We're in round 2 of the of 3 divisional matchups between opponents. What were you doing right there? Giving Dave the noogie?
Crunch.
Oh, okay.
Crunch,
headlock.
Tim That's what I'm going to do to Dave Snellgrove this weekend.
Timmy Kelly's going to watch this. He's going to love that. But, well, Stork, it's been a great show here, episode 9. We will be back with our 10th episode next week, and we will get the Colonel back on. We need the Colonel. And we'll see how it does. Like we said, maybe we'll have a chance to do another show here before Sunday. Yeah. Or at Sunday, and we'll talk to you then, buddy. Have a great night of watching hockey. Thank you for watching episode 9 of the Storks Desk. And like Badger Bob always said, it's a great day for hockey. And good luck in your fantasy matchups out there, and enjoy the pucks. Good night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. This is the mailman, Jimmy Milstead, the commish, Kevin Stork up in Maple Ridge, BC.
There, you got it right.
Yeah, see you next week. All right, Storky.
Bye.